so-called Field Hygiene Project was an initiative of Heinrich Himmler, the Reichsführer SS. In a letter dated November 1940, the Reichsführer mentions the unnecessary failures suffered by the German army through prostitution in France. The biggest danger in Paris is the wild horse who practice their dark trade on the streets and in the cafes, restaurants, bars, and entertainment areas. It is our task to protect our soldiers. The project, initially called Burghild and bore the stamp Geheime Reichssache, so secret state matter. It was under the supervision of Dr. Joachim Murgowski, head of the Hygiene Institute of the Waffen-SS personally. All employees were obliged to strict secrecy. In July 1941, coincidentally with the invasion of the Soviet Union, a Danish SS doctor took over the project, Dr. Olen Hanussen, who probably changed the name of the project to Borghild, which is the Danish word for Burghild, and he pushed the development forward. As far as Himmler's theory, the doll should follow the troops into Russia and dissuade the soldiers from the visit of front brothels. However, a psychologist friend of Hanussen clearly stated in a letter to Himmler the difficulty of the task. No question, the aim and purpose of the doll is to instinctually regulation of our soldiers who should fight and not visit foreigners, but no real man will prefer a doll to a real woman. From June 1941, therefore, skin-friendly polymers were specially developed by E.J. Farben, the largest German chemical conglomerate, on behalf of the Hygiene Institute. The search for a suitable model was slow at first. The Borghild doll was supposed to correspond to the beauty ideal of the time: white skin, light blonde hair and blue eyes. Although there was also demand for a dark-haired variant, the SS Hygiene Institute insisted on producing a Nordic doll, and a number of women athletes were cast, among them Wilhelmina von Bremen. But there were a lot of problems. Murgowski wrote, "Either the legs are too short or the lady has a hollow cross and wrestling arms. The overall picture is always disappointing." While Murgowski allegedly favored a full-body imprint of the actor Christina Söderbaum, the Borghild designer decided for a modular composition of the mold. The doll was to become a perfect automation of desire, which combined all feminine virtues. The face was first communicated to a flirty face of Kate von Nagy. Nagy, a very popular diva of the Third Reich, refused, however, despite Himmler's request to borrow her face to the doll. Doctors agreed that the success of the Borghild would depend essentially on the face. Contrary to the popular belief that male arousal would be triggered by the appearance of secondary or primary female sexual characteristics, they argued that it was the face that plays a crucial role. Very simple heads were first produced in a mannequin factory near Königsberg. These wig holders were painted and styled very similar unique pieces. The purpose of this costly exercise was to determine the real taste of the soldiers, and Dr. Hanussen remarked that the notion of female beauty prevalent in the SS is not necessarily shared by the broad masses. It was also planned that the mouth should have an opening, teeth and tongue included. 3 types of dolls of different sizes were planned: Type A 168 cm tall, Type B 176 cm tall, and Type C 182 cm tall, but only Type B model was to be produced. The first Borghild doll was finished in September 1941. It corresponded exactly to the Nordic type. Our hairdressers he was supposed to emphasize that the Borghild was part of the fighting force, a field girl and not an honorable mother. Borghild's presentation in Berlin was a success. The Reichsführer SS Heinrich Himmler was also present. Himmler was so excited that he wanted to order 50 pieces immediately. There was a talk of setting up a special production facility, as the premises in the workshops of the Hygiene Museum were perceived as insufficient for such a project. But a few weeks later the budget was cut and the Borghild project was stopped in early 1942. All construction documents were collected and sent back to the SS Hygiene Institute. The serial production of the doll was not started, and the Hygiene Institute was destroyed in a fire in February 1945.